Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Happy Friday. I'm Tyler Kieft, joined as always by Kevin McIntosh. Kevin, happy Friday to you as well.
And happy to join you, by the way, Tyler. Just want to put that out there. It's another day we woke up. As a matter of fact, if you are watching and listening, you are already winning. Let's get to the business, Tyler.
And no bigger win than being with us on the Splash Live each and every morning across the greater West Bloomfield area, especially on a beautiful sunny Friday here in the greater West Bloomfield area. Back to school season is also underway, but the fun of summer is still here, and actually it's growing also in the West Bloomfield School District as part of the 2023 bond. Improvements are being made to playgrounds at our local elementary school, including at Gretschko, where we have our very own Jake Schaff with even more insight on what's being done at these playgrounds this summer and how it will only enhance your kids' experiences in the fall. Jake.
Yes, Tyler, Kevin, good morning. Really great morning. And as you said, work is coming along smoothly for all of the playgrounds, especially the one right over here at Gretschko Elementary School, where I am here live. If you take a look behind me, you will see that structures have already been started to be put up, and you see equipment on the ground ready to be installed very soon. And if you look over there, you might have to squint a little bit to see it, but you might see a red, almost apple-like structure. That is because each of the playgrounds, including the one here, will have a theme and connection to Apple Island, helping to localize and bring some historical significance to these new playground structures.
Yeah, these are just getting started too. They've been being prepared throughout the summer. They removed the old playground equipment, but now we're starting to see those structures come together. What are some of the features you've seen so far? And Jake, talking to Jamie Stottlemyre from the West Bloomfield School District in their administration office, what were some of the goals or the strategies behind these new playgrounds, other than just having new fun stuff in place for the kids?
Yes, that's correct. I did speak to Jamie Stottlemyre this morning, and one of the things he talked about was making sure that there was a lot of similarities between the four new playgrounds, making sure they're all very similar and making sure that it has that feeling of familiarity. But there's also some new developments in making sure that all kids feel safe, including a new sensory playground for the special ed students that might have a little more of a challenging time out on the playground. This will make things a little easier for them. And then you also have, for all of the kids, instead of the wood chips and blacktop that we're familiar with from being in school long ago, we've got a nice put-in rubber mat. So it's a lot safer for the kids. That way, if anyone trips and if anyone has falls, which are bound to happen on playgrounds as kids do, it will thankfully not be as harmful and will be much safer.
Yeah, now, of course, we're keeping Jake at a safe distance as it is an active construction zone at this time. But Calvin, out at Master Control, we have some pictures, too, that the school district posted earlier on today on their Facebook page of some of the progress that is being made in the trenches on that playground as we speak. So the people viewing at home and on civiccentertv.com can see a little bit more of what's behind Jake out there at Gretschko Elementary. Now, Jake, that's not the only place that this is happening in the West Bloomfield School District. As you said, this is happening across the elementary schools altogether, but we're expecting to see this completed in the coming weeks.
Yes, that is correct. All of the elementary schools are going through this change right now with play structures. And as Jamie told me, these are going to be some of the biggest playground structures in all of the state of Michigan, which is really, really cool. But of course, that also means that construction is going to take a bit longer than most would. He told me that it was likely that these would be finished sometime around mid-September. So it might overlap with the start of the school year a little bit, but there will surely be plenty of time for the kids to have all the fun they could possibly have on these structures.
Hey, look, they're not going to have maybe the play structures in place. That means, hey, recess is going to have to go back to some of that old creativity from the kids, making up their own games, having their own fun in the green space there at our elementary schools. Jake, thank you for that live report.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tyler.
Jake Schaff from our team live out at Gretschko Elementary School, one of the many locations you'll be seeing new playgrounds in Greater West Bloomfield come this fall. We appreciate that report, Kevin. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun for those kids.
Oh, a brand new playground? Tell me that's not motivation to just get outside and just jump on the monkey bars, ride down the slide. That's promoting physical activity with a brand new facility. So I think that's a great way to get the kids out and encourage them to do some things.
Yeah, it's great for all the families in our communities too, because of course these are elementary schools, it's a public school district, it's public property. You can then go there over the weekends too, and your kids can have another great place to go in our community for fun all throughout the year, not just on those school days. And Kevin, it's not the only kind of fun we're going to be having coming up very soon here in Greater West Bloomfield.
Yeah, because Pickle Rage is now officially open, and it's open for free play, by the way. But there's a catch. You have to reserve, and it's by court availability. So it's by reservation and court availability, and it's happening now through the end of July 31st. Brand new facility, by the way, located on Orchard Lake Road in the Gateway Center, set to become one of the biggest hubs for the fastest growing sport in southeastern Michigan, Tyler.
Yeah, it is. We had a chance to talk to Jesse Francisco, their general manager. I spoke to him last week right here on this program to get an understanding of what people can expect from this experience when they go to the Gateway Center on Orchard Lake Road and visit Pickle Rage. Here's what he had to say.
It's 30,000 square feet. It has 9 courts. We will have the like I said, the 9 courts there, plus we have a dink court so you can practice beforehand. We'll also have a fully stocked pro shop. Allow you to come and buy some of your merchandise, upgrade your paddles. We'll have some Pickle Rage branded wear for you there. But really, I think the thing that sets us apart is our courts. We started, when we conceptualized Pickle Rage, we started with the courts. It's a Cushion X court. It's actually the courts that they use at the U.S. Open. And we're excited to bring it to the community.
And Pickle Rage could have gone anywhere across Oakland County and across southeastern Michigan. I had a chance to ask Jesse why West Bloomfield seemed to be that perfect place to bring this new major, huge hub for a growing sport in our local community.
The large amount of pickleball enthusiasts in this area, when we looked at the stats and looked at some of the data that we spent a lot of time researching, it was kind of mind-blowing. There's just so much. And we're excited to bring our brand and, lend ourselves to the community as a place to gather, enjoy the sport, learn the sport. It also has a lot to do with the facility. This particular unit offered us the proper layout to put the right amount of courts in, because that comes down to it. Just because it's a large building doesn't necessarily mean the layout and the configuration will work. This one was perfect for us, and we're more than excited to be here.
You can learn more about Pickle Rage, including its hours of operation, how you can sign up for some of those reservations, understand more about the court availability and some of the technology behind what they've put in there at the Gateway Center on Orchard Lake Road in West Bloomfield. Visit their Facebook page at Pickle Rage West Bloomfield. Again, their soft opening that includes some free play on their courts begins today, runs all the way through the end of the month, and then they'll have their grand opening event on August 3rd from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. at their new pickleball center right here in West Bloomfield Township. Again, facebook.com/Pickle Rage West Bloomfield for all of that information and to keep up to date with what's certainly going to be a big new attraction right here in the greater West Bloomfield area. On the topic of attractions in the greater West Bloomfield area, Only in Michigan has featured a restaurant you'll find only in Sylvan Lake. That restaurant, of course, is the Sylvan Table, which opened just a few years ago in Sylvan Lake, and Only in Michigan featured some really interesting information about the background behind this. As you see on your screen on CivicCenterTV.com, that is the barn that is the home of this location in Greater West Bloomfield. You're seeing some of the dining experience inside, but what you maybe haven't known going into your dining experience at Sylvan Table, or as you pass it by on your daily commute or visiting the community, is some of the history behind it. That barn was imported all the way from the East Coast in Maine, but that's not even the most interesting element of that story. Not only was that barn transported across the country right here close to home in the prettiest little city in Michigan, it's also older than I am. It's older than you are. It's older than you and I and the entire team at Civic Center TV if we combined all of our ages. That barn, 300 years old and restored in Sylvan Lake to house the Sylvan Table. Really interesting article that was shooting the praises of this restaurant that's become very, very popular in the city of Sylvan Lake. Gourmet meals with produce grown on site and special events all throughout the year. As written by Only in Your State's Sophie Boudreau, the author of this article, quote, "Whether you're here for a date night, a family dinner, or gathering with friends, one thing is for sure, Sylvan Table promises an unparalleled experience that will have you returning for seconds before you know it." End quote. That's great exposure, Kevin, for this local restaurant at MichiganProud.oiys is part of Only in Your State, which features some interesting attractions in a variety of categories across all 50 of the states, including only in Michigan. MichiganProud.oiys on Facebook is their page. 60,000 followers, and their parent, Michigan Only, on Facebook has 400,000 followers, so some great exposure for an already very popular eatery here in the Tri-Cities.
It's so great to see something get highlighted, not only just within the greater West Bloomfield, not only just Sylvan Lake, but in Michigan in general. And that's a prize, that's a treasure and jewel that we have right here in our own community and backyard. We won't have to all go out there and pay it a visit and actually go out there and support them too.
Yeah, you know, it's a tough place to get into. That tells you a lot about the food, about the service, and about the excitement behind it. Even to this day, not easy to get yourself a reservation there at the Sylvan Table, one of the most popular places you can visit right here in the greater West Bloomfield area. But Kevin, if people are looking for great food and maybe some great company as well, they can also go right next door into the heart of the lakes tonight for the biggest party in town.
That's right. The party officially starts tonight. It's the block party, Keego Harbor July block party, starting tonight, Friday, July 19th, 5:30 at Rose Sorter Park behind City Hall. Live music, great vibes. As a matter of fact, Interstate 90s will be there performing. Then we'll have a bunch of artists from not only Keego Harbor, from the greater West Bloomfield area in general, all showcasing their art right here locally from the art sale as well. So it's a lot of great things happening at the block party. We just need you to go out there, our watchers, our viewers, our listeners. Please go out there and support and have a good time on a Friday night, right, Tyler?
Yeah, that is definitely going to be the case, and one of the features of tonight's event is going to be the food truck coming in, Cousins Maine Lobster. Now, this was a food truck that was in our local area just a few weeks ago at Food Truck Tuesdays over at West Bloomfield Town Hall. And I heard a little bit in the background last night. I was at Keego Harbor City Hall for their city council meeting, and as Kirsten Douglas from their Parks and Recreation Committee was talking about the excitement behind this food truck coming to the block party tonight. They've been trying for years, Kevin, to get that food truck to come into town. A lot of excitement, a lot of people saying they want to go to this event just for that food truck alone. So expecting some big crowds over there for that, and all the fun happening there. Games, music, local artists, friendly people. It's going to be a great time in the heart of the lakes tonight. Again, you can learn more information about everything happening in Keego Harbor through Parks and Rec, including their block parties both this month and in the month of August, their Keego Connect events, and so much more ways you can get involved. Facebook.com/KH Parks. Another way to get involved is to do your civic duty and hit the polls on August 6th or before through early voting and absentee voting. Election day is right around the corner, and local clerks are also getting ready for the final push to the big primary day. That includes at the county level, where the Oakland County Clerk and Register of Deeds, Lisa Brown, and her team recently ran their public accuracy tests to ensure equipment is properly prepared for both absentee voting and early voting coming up. Similar accuracy tests are ongoing across all communities in Oakland County and across the state of Michigan. In fact, just yesterday, public accuracy tests were conducted at West Bloomfield Town Hall in the afternoon. On that topic of the election coming up, we want to keep you abreast of what you need to know about this particular primary. In the state of Michigan, it is a one-party primary. That means you can only vote for one party or the other, Republican or Democrat, in the partisan section of your ballot. That means, look, if you don't want to vote in the partisan section, if you're not really in favor of any of the candidates that are on there, and there's other things on the nonpartisan section, you can vote however you'd like there. But in the partisan section, if you're voting for, let's say, a township board, or you're voting for one of the local congressional districts where there's primaries both on the Democratic and the Republican side, if there are Republicans and Democrats that are available for your choice on your ballot, you can only choose either a Democrat or a Republican across all of those categories. So it's one party, straight party voting only, one side or the other, or that partisan section will not count. So all the more reason, if you want more information, if you're confused about how this all works, if you want to learn more about absentee voting or early voting, or how our local clerk's offices prepare themselves for the elections, highly encourage you to go to a number of different resources. oakgov.com/clerk ROD for the county level information. Locally close to home, West Bloomfield is WBTownship.org. Keego Harbor is KeegoHarbor.org. Sylvan Lake is SylvanLake.org. And the City of Orchard Lake Village residents can go to CityofOrchardLake.com to keep up to date. And of course, stay tuned right here on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM for even more news, information, and updates regarding our local elections in Greater West Bloomfield. We'll continue to go through the latest issues and things you need to know across our four communities. And one thing that has been a bit of an issue lately has been a transition in waste hauling services. GFL Environmental concluded their services to our four communities recently, and July 1st began the run of priority waste. We'll have more information on that coming up. In the meantime, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with plenty more live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
Hi, I'm Debbie Binder, West Bloomfield Township Clerk. I want to congratulate Civic Center TV on reaching 1 million viewers on YouTube. We are really grateful for your efforts to help us get our message regarding elections out to your viewers. I'm Debbie Binder, proud to be 1 in a million.
Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Keefe alongside Kevin McIntosh, and thank you for joining us. One of the biggest issues in our community over recent weeks has been the transition in waste hauling services from GFL Environmental over to Priority Waste. And of course, those last few weeks with GFL, plenty of complaints coming in across our 4 communities about abysmal service, and that prompted West Bloomfield Township earlier this week at their township board meeting to explore whether or not to tap into what's called a performance bond to get some funding back from their contract with GFL Environmental as a result of those issues. Ultimately, that was voted positively through by the township board to seek that performance bond. Here's a brief description from Township Attorney Alana Knox about what that means.
The board has expressed an interest in drawing on the performance bond from GFL. Our office has reviewed the contract that we have in place with GFL, as well as the bond, performance bond that we have in place, and we have analyzed the issue and believe that the township can draw on this bond. So to kind of break it down, a performance bond is a sum of money, usually backed by always backed by an insurance company that a company puts up as like an assurance that it will fulfill its contractual obligations. This sum of money can be quote unquote drawn upon when there is a breach or a breach of the contract, which means that the contractor, in this case GFL, is not fulfilling their obligations.
There were complaints of garbage not being picked up, about garbage being either dumped or being dropped off of vehicles onto the ground and left in these neighborhoods, cans being thrown all about, and just a number of various complaints that made the services definitely not up to the standards of our 4 communities, and in West Bloomfield in particular, where this performance bond is being sought now by the township board. That also reflected into the opening weeks of Priority Waste services. They began their waste hauling services not only in West Bloomfield, but across all 4 of our communities on July 1st. And there have been some growing pains along the way. Matt Allen from the team at Priority Waste joined us recently and explained some of what will be the parts of those growing pains as they not only bring in some new people, but bring in new vehicles as well and have to bridge the gaps between new vehicles and technological implementation.
We've got a wonderful fleet that we had with Priority, but we bought 500 vehicles from the previous provider, and we've had to go through and get them service ready to get them on the road. So that is going to be a process that's going to take 2 to 3 weeks to get through the initial phases, and then 60 to 90 days to implement the Priority technology, which is our third eye technology, and the ground point positioning system, which aids all of our routing software, which is where Priority's technology really comes to bear in communities to increase service accountability and efficiency.
And also coming into play here is a lot of new employees too. Matt Allen from their team also talked about implementing not only this new technology, getting it installed in these vehicles, doing those repairs, but getting their personnel ready for it as well, as they have a number of different policies and different ways that they operate, incorporating that technology, incorporating internal communication that wasn't in place before. I had a chance to talk to Steve Kaplan, the West Bloomfield Township Supervisor, about how the township's addressing these issues now with Priority Waste, how the first couple of weeks were a little bit of a pain. And first, Steve said the first week or so was about a D to D minus grade. And then the second week, he said they're getting about a C. And then this week's been pretty good. So now they're a little bit at a B level. And he expects within the next 30 days or so to have that service kind of at more of a full strength and be up to the standards of the township. In the meantime, you can contact West Bloomfield Township with any issues, and they will work those out alongside Priority Waste. And so some growing pains are to be expected, but hopefully this issue will resolve itself. It's not been uncommon outside of our 4 communities as well with over 700,000 customers now under the umbrella of Priority Waste since that switchover from GFL across Oakland County and several of our neighboring counties as well. Highly encourage you to watch our full interview with Steve Kaplan from earlier on this week on civiccentertv.com for even more insight into that. On the sunnier side of things, something that will bring you a smile and get you away from the frustrations is always a celebration. And here in the greater West Bloomfield area, one of our greatest institutions is celebrating a major anniversary this weekend. Orchard Lake Community Church Presbyterian on Sunday will celebrate its 150th anniversary in our community. Joining us to talk about that and what will go on with the celebration, some historical connections between our community and Orchard Lake Community Church Presbyterian, is Christy Forehand. Christy, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Tyler. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, happy to have you on to talk about this 150th anniversary of the church. Actually, just Thursday this week was the official 150th anniversary of when the church was dedicated. Take us through some of the history behind this location and why it's been such a staple in our community for a century and a half.
Well, 150 years plus one day as of yesterday. Our church was founded originally by Colin and Caroline Campbell. And if you are familiar with Apple Island in the center of Orchard Lake, excuse me, you might know that the Campbells owned Apple Island from 1856 to 1915, and they made it their summer family destination. And being very devout Christians, they would host daily worship services in their parlor. Well, Caroline in particular felt the call to make a more permanent place of Christian worship as the community grew around the lake. So in 1871, our cornerstone was laid, and we still have that same cornerstone. It's still in the foundation of the chapel. It took about 3 years, but the chapel was finally finished in 1874, and that is what we are celebrating. It's 150 continuous years of Christian worship on the shores of Orchard Lake.
And it's going to be a big celebration. Of course, you'll have the regular Sunday worship on Sunday morning, but immediately after that, the celebration begins with quite a big event. And not only is it going to be a big celebration and a lot of fun for the community around the church and in the local area, but it's also going to incorporate a little bit of history into it too. Specific elements like bagpipes and bell tolling. Can you explain why those elements are playing an important role in this celebration?
Sure. Yeah, we are having a regular worship service, but it's going to be enhanced with some special music. The bagpipes are a nod to the Scottish heritage of the Campbells. They are Scottish immigrants. So they were Scottish immigrants to the Detroit area. So the bagpipes are a nod to that. We have a bell that is not typically rung, but it's been in our steeple since the 40s. We are going to ring that 150 times, and then guests have the opportunity after worship, if they would like to ring our bell, we can escort you to the bell tower and you can pull the rope in true Quasimodo fashion. We are going to have a light lunch with an ice cream social immediately following the worship in the historic chapel. Everyone is included. Everyone is invited. You don't have to pre-register. There's no fee. Just come, have a sandwich, have some ice cream. And then we are unveiling a permanent historic exhibit, like a museum quality exhibit of the history of the church in the chapel, which we now refer to as Heritage Hall. And then to cap the event off, we have really excited to have our special guest speaker, Dr. Catherine Kangany. Katie Kangany is the triple great granddaughter of Colin and Caroline Campbell. So she is very authentically connected to the history of Apple Island, the Campbells, and our church. She is a trained historian and, as I said, a true family connection, and she will be speaking on the history of the church and our sanctuary. So it's a good day. We're going to keep things moving so nobody feels like if things are dragging along. We're going to keep you moving. We've got Sunday school available for the little ones who are restless. The nursery will be open, and we also have guided tours of the church campus available that day.
Yeah, and it's an interesting event too, and having that discussion from Dr. Kangany is going to be really cool because it's not only forming those connections over 150 years within that community in the church, but also between the church and our community and its history too. And you know, you're a history buff yourself. You love our local history. You're a historical society member. So for someone like you that has both of those connections, how does this tie in as something that makes this even more special for you, Christy?
Yeah, well, it really is. My husband and I have been members of this church for over 30 years. And I am a docent for the Apple Island Tours for the Historical Society. And to be able to stand on the island, looking at the foundation of the Campbell family home and knowing that, you know, 150 years ago, these folks were sitting there having their Vespers and singing their hymns and, you know, bringing that to the lakeshore and then being in that same space. I mean, we just recently uncovered or discovered some of the original nails. We were doing some renovation work, and there's original nails that will be on display. And just, you know, being able to touch that history. We have the original Bible that was donated and dedicated as part of the 1874 service. We have the original communion decanter. We have some of the original communion cups. So yeah, it's a pretty neat connection. And you can stand in our gathering space and you can see Apple Island. So from the church to the island is such a direct connection. And we're just so, you know, really honored to be able to celebrate God's faithfulness for 150 years in one day.
Christy Forehand is with us on the Splash Live, a member of Orchard Lake Community Church Presbyterian. They will celebrate their 150th anniversary this weekend on Sunday. You can learn even more information about that by visiting their website. And Christy, is someone that has been a member of this church for 30 years. You've built those connections within the church community, but that, as we said, the church has also formed so many connections outside of the walls that it worships within. What do you think has sustained this community for 150 years and kept it going? Because that doesn't just happen effortlessly.
Right. Well, it's really the commitment, the dedication of congregants who believe it's important to have a faith community. You know, it's God's faithfulness to this community. We've been through good times and bad, strong economic times, times of family grief. We have a support network, as most faith communities do. When, you know, you need a hand or you have a joy to celebrate, there are people around you who are part. I mean, we truly take that concept of family to heart. So I think it's having meaningful connections, meaningful activities, ways people can serve the community. We have a men's softball team right now that is playing over in West Bloomfield. A summer women's Bible study. We have our youth group today is coming home from rehabbing homes in Tennessee. So we have a lot of different ministry teams and activities, and that's been true for all those years, ways for people to join together in faith, but also in fellowship and community, and just find a place where they can connect and belong.
You can learn more about the 150th anniversary celebration at Orchard Lake Community Church Presbyterian, OLCCP.com. Their Sunday worship is at 10 a.m. And just after that, around 11:15, will be the afterward celebration with their lunch, their ice cream social, and so much more learning activities at the church. Christy, as you reflect on your years as a member of the church and your family's years of membership and connection there, what are some of your personal favorite memories that you've collected over those years?
Wow, so many. Well, I guess my 3 children were all baptized at the church. My daughter was married at the church. We have many, many longtime friends at the church. My husband and I have both served in leadership positions. I ring handbells. Which don't consider myself a musician, but I can count to 4. So that's a way I can celebrate music in the church. It's just really, it's a place where newcomers are welcome, and folks who have been here for 30 or 40 or 50 or more years really have established themselves as part of our community. So I just want to point out, this is a special celebration on Sunday, but church is always open. You don't need an invitation like this. We don't need to send you a postcard. Just come on in. We do Sunday worship in the summertime on the lake at 8:30 in the morning, which is spectacular because you're looking over the sunrise of Orchard Lake, and then 10 o'clock in the sanctuary. So I hope you join us.
I will be out there. Christy will capture the moments for those that cannot join the community out at Orchard Lake Community Church Presbyterian on Sunday. Before we let you go, anything else that people should know about this celebration, or if they want to get some insight into this community, it's now sustained itself for 150 years and more?
Yeah, I should point out our celebration is going to cap off with a Founders Weekend in September. So on Friday, September 13th, we have a Christian youth concert with a performer named DJ Code. If your kids have been to Spring Hill Christian Camp, they probably raved about DJ Code. He's extremely popular with the kids. So he will be live in performance at our church on Friday, September 13th. We will have a family fun activity on Saturday, September 14th, and then we're going to have a classic outdoor church worship service and potluck on Sunday, September 15th. And that will actually take place at Orchard Lake Country Club. You don't have to be a member. You don't have to pre-register. You just follow us on Facebook, follow us on the website, sign up for our e-newsletter, and you could get all the details and just drop in any day.
olccp.com is their website. You can also follow the church on OLCCP on Facebook. Their 150th anniversary celebration is happening this Sunday morning. Christy, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Tyler. Have a fabulous day.
You as well. Always a pleasure talking with Christy Forehand from Orchard Lake Community Church Presbyterian and the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. And of course, always great to celebrate the staples of our community and those organizations and groups that have been with us throughout the years and have joined us on this journey throughout our local history. Congratulations to Dr. LePayne, to Christy, to the entire team at the church. And of course, we'll have even more of a report on that coming up very soon right here on the Splash Live. Kevin, everybody watches women's sports. Everyone loves women's sports. It is growing in popularity, and through not only the WNBA but the Professional Women's Hockey League. So many different sports are on the rise on the professional level, and that's now trickling down also to the local level, including right here in West Bloomfield.
Now, the news that we recently just received is that there is now going to be a girls' hockey, ice hockey program for West Bloomfield. That's because West Bloomfield has joined the Bloomfield Birmingham Girls High School Hockey Co-op program. Right here with me on the Splash Live to talk more about is the team manager, TJ Tabin of the Girls High School Hockey Team. Thank you so much for your time, TJ.
Thank you for having me on to talk about this. This is exciting.
So let's just get straight into it. Let's just talk about the partnership and how it came about.
So the league, it's up to 21 teams now for the girls high school hockey, and they're always looking to grow. And one of the best ways to grow is to bring in a team as a co-op. They generate interest in that school, and then after a couple of years, hopefully they can have their own team. And from my understanding, there's a couple of girls at West Bloomfield that are interested. Talked to the AD. He got in contact with our AD at Bloomfield, and we put in the paperwork. The league voted on it, and it was approved last month.
Great opportunity for girls who are interested in ice hockey throughout their high school career. Now, if I'm getting this correct, off ice training will be starting in August, and then on ice training starting in September. What can the players expect from the off ice training that's starting next month?
So our off ice training is run by our captains. They focus on agility, strength and conditioning, and most importantly, it's team building. Because every year you have new girls come into the fold, and they just get to know everybody, and that's what makes a successful team, is when they can work together. Also, in years past, we have brought in a strength coach to do some weight training, but we do that year to year to see what the interest is.
Okay. So we're talking about building camaraderie, teamwork. It's not so much about the actual on-ice play at that time, but it's about building that teamwork, camaraderie, and getting the players to know each other, that synergy. I can completely understand that. Right here with us on the Splash Live, Girls High School Hockey Team Manager for the Bloomfield, Birmingham, and now West Bloomfield girls, TJ Tabin joining us. Now, I want to talk about the integration of the players. How do you see the integration between West Bloomfield, Birmingham, and Bloomfield kind of dynamics and kind of meshing together? How do you see that happen?
So we've been a co-op for a few years now between Bloomfield and the two Birmingham high schools, and there's really been zero issues with that. The girls all get along. They're hockey players first. We are the Blackhawks, which is Bloomfield's mascot. The Birmingham girls haven't had much of an issue with that. They're happy to go with the Blackhawks. We're always let's go Blackhawks. We wear the purple and black, and for a lot of the things, we try and just go by Hills Hockey or something like that and keep it generic so everybody can fit in. But my daughters came through the Birmingham schools, and they played for the team. They loved it. They're in the yearbook, their state championship. 2 state championships they won. They got recognized by the Birmingham
Okay.
schools. So there's a lot of, we work together very well. It's, no one really takes the shine. We share it.
That's how it should be. And that goes to speak to your management skills, also keeping them all together and on the same page. With that being said, what are the goals and the expectations for the team this year? What's your plan to achieve them?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, we've won 2 state championships in the last 5 years. Our goal is always the state championship. But our day-to-day goals are just having fun and developing these girls as student athletes. Ice hockey is,
there you go.
It's kind of a niche skill, but once you learn it, you can play the rest of your life. There's, college teams, club teams, beer league teams. Most of our girls, they continue playing after high school.
That's good to know that there are opportunities beyond high school for girls who want to do ice hockey. Also, can you just tell us briefly a little bit about the coaching staff that'll be joining you for this for the girls' high school ice hockey program?
Yeah, so we have a very experienced staff. Our head coach, Mick Singland, I think he's got 12 years in the program. He's had 2 daughters that played hockey, so even before high school, he coached girls hockey at a high level. Our assistant coach, Chris Cook, he's been with the program 7 years. He had a daughter come through the program as well. I believe she works for the St. Louis Blues now, so she's still very involved in hockey. And then our newest guy, Ash Morsi, he's going into his 3rd season. His first daughter went through the program, state championship with us. Now his second daughter's in the program, so.
Nice. Love to see that right there. All right, I know we held up a lot of your time, Coach. Lastly, any information for anyone who's watching, listening, who is interested in possibly joining this girls ice hockey program, what can they do?
Email me at tjtaven@gmail.com, or if you get a hold of Eric, the athletic director, he can forward your email to me. And also, if there's any fundraising ideas or sponsorship opportunities that anybody watching wants to be a part of the team, you can also email me at tjtaven.com, and hopefully we can get something going.
Oh man, I'm excited to see this, and I'm glad that we're doing something to kind of get girls who are interested in ice hockey at West Bloomfield also to kind of join in and give them that great opportunity. Thanks again, once again, girls high school hockey team manager for Bloomfield, Birmingham, and now West Bloomfield, TJ Taben. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Let's go Blackhawks.
Let's go Blackhawks. And like he said, if you are interested in signing up your daughter, your student for the girls ice hockey high school program, email him tjtabin@gmail.com for more information. It's a great opportunity. I'm happy to see it, Tyler.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun for the West Bloomfield girls to be able to join this team. It's an established program that's had quite a lot of success over the years, combining interest from girls at the high school level to play a game that they love at a competitive level across our state. And I know from going through the Bloomfield Hills school system that there is a lot of passion in that program. They have a lot of talent throughout our local area to play on a hockey team like that. And it's not uncommon to have hockey teams across both boys and girls sports in hockey across the state of Michigan have these quote-unquote unified teams like this. So great to see now West Bloomfield getting involved in that with some of its neighboring communities, building those relationships, and of course expanding girls sports here in the greater West Bloomfield area and beyond. Great news from the West Bloomfield School District. Of course, you can always learn more about all their athletics programs on westbloomfieldathletics.com. Close to home in the prettiest little city in Michigan, the Bocce World in Michigan will be converging this weekend for a big tournament. Joining us to talk about that is Gino Santia. Gino, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Tyler. Good morning to you.
Yeah, happy to have you on live from the Bocce Court in Sylvan Lake, where this weekend the 26th annual Michigan Bocce Tournament will be happening. Tell us about this tournament that actually has quite a significant historical connection to us here in Greater West Bloomfield.
Well, first of all, I'm standing on the courts right now, and as you can see, tomorrow morning at the same time tomorrow morning, these courts will be filled with players from all over the state. The Upper Peninsula's always had a couple of teams in the tournament, as well as Dearborn and some other surrounding areas. And they come, and it's an all-day event for the state championship here. We've actually started it 28 years ago, but because of the pandemic, we held off a couple of years. So we're back at it again. Last year is up in the Upper Peninsula. This year is here in Sylvan Lake, right behind the community center and right on the lake here, as you can see. If we show a little panorama, you can see the lake here.
Yeah, we'll take a look around there. It's all set up. They got some tents out there. The signage is all up. The bocce courts. Got some people already out there practicing. We saw behind Gino out there.
Yeah, they're trying to get a start on everybody, I think.
Yeah, that's going to be the case. The tournament begins over the weekend. We'll have our team out there, too, for even more extended coverage of this. And, Gino, it's really cool because it brings people from across the state of Michigan into our local area. But on top of that, Sylvan Lake has played such a big role in creating this community of bocce enthusiasts across our state. Just how big of a game is bocce ball in the state of Michigan?
Well, it's getting bigger. I mean, it's kind of like a select group that play it. We've had our Wednesday night league here right here in Sylvan Lake for over 30 years. We play every Wednesday night, and since we started, we built these courts. Our league built the courts and made them very competitive. Very they're like international rules and stuff, and. Since then, there's been a league that started on Tuesday nights, and there's also a neighborhood league that plays here on Thursday nights. And, of course, anytime you come out here on the weekends, you'll see people out here playing on the bocce courts.
So just take us through a little bit about the game of bocce ball, because playing bocce is something that, like you said, it's a select group of people really that we see playing the game, but it's a game that can be played really by anybody.
Well, it's an easy game to play. Anybody can play it. It's kind of like bowling, but you're not trying to knock the pins over. You're just trying to get close to the little ball, which is called the palina. As you can see, there's 6 balls on each team. We play the international rules, so we play with 6 balls and 3 players on each team. And typically the score goes to 12. It's scored like horseshoes would be scored, closest to the pin, and it plays to 12. But I think this year they may be changing the rules because the international have changed the scoring system a little bit. So we won't know till tomorrow.
The Sylvan Lake Community Center will be hosting the Michigan Bocce Tournament. That is on July 20th, right here in the greater West Bloomfield area, with some of the best players, not only across the state of Michigan, but around the U.S., converging on our community. Gino, if people want to see this tournament, or if people are interested now, they're hearing us talk about this today, why should they come out and watch this tournament happen in our community this weekend?
Well, it's very fun to watch. It really is. I haven't been able to play the last couple of weeks for other reasons, but I spend my time here every Wednesday just sitting here watching the players play. And this is probably the first time I haven't played in the state tournament, but it's always fun to watch the players play, the strategy that goes in it, and the talent, really. There's some real skills to it. The way they called spot the ball, where you knock the ball out of the way, trying to knock a point out, or Rafa, or Volo, where they throw the ball in the air and try to knock the ball out. It's quite interesting.
Sylvan Lake bocce courts will be filled over the weekend for the Michigan Bocce Tournament that is happening at the Sylvan Lake Community Center all throughout the weekend, beginning on Saturday. It's on Saturday morning. The tournament will begin about 8 a.m. and last throughout the day at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. To get more information on the Community Center, where you need to go this weekend to enjoy the tournament, go to sylvanlake.org. Gino, before we let you go, anything else we should know about the Michigan Bocce Tournament?
Well, come on out and watch. We're doing the catering for it. It's for the players, of course, and we try to feed everybody. Also, it's been sponsored through the years. It's been sponsored by the Suburban Collection, and Mike Grasser, who lives here in Sylvan, who's a landscape architect, contractor, who's built these courts for us, and he plays every year. He's one of the original players, and these courts are really, really top-notch. You don't see courts like this just anywhere. People just kind of dig out some area in their lawn and put a bocce ball court. But these are these are really sanctioned, nice courts. They roll nice. They're groomed. We got lights here at night. Edison's got 3 pole lights for us, and we've got some grapevines growing on the trellises there. It's just a nice setting for us.
It's a beautiful location, too, and perfect place to spend a sunny Saturday in Greater West Bloomfield. Gino, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Tyler.
8 o'clock a.m. Saturday, July 20th at the Sylvan Lake Community Center, 2456 Pontiac Drive in the prettiest little city in Michigan, where once again, bocce history in the Great Lakes State will be made, as it has been since 2003, shifting between Sylvan Lake and the Upper Peninsula for this annual tournament. Kevin, so cool that we find something like this in our community, because not only is bocce, as Gino said, a growing game, this is something that has a connection between not only our area, but all regions of the state of Michigan, and a great ambassadorship for our 4 communities.
What I like the most is the fact that this continues to prove that Oakland County residents as a whole are always looking for physical activity, things to stay in shape. I know most of us live close or near a park or somewhere where we can get some type of physical activity. We're always promoting things to promote physical activity, and I love to see this being endorsed and advocated by our local residents. So bocce ball, never really heard too much about it, but I'm interested in it, and I love to see people go out there and play the sport and have a good time.
We'll have plenty more on the Michigan Bocce Tournament coming up on the Splash Live early on next week. Stay tuned, of course, on CivicCenterTV.com and across our social media for updates on that. Kevin, not only do we have some of the best bocce players in the state of Michigan here in Sylvan Lake, and of course we're also known for some pretty darn good football players coming out of West Bloomfield recently. Athletes across the board being celebrated, including Maya from the Detroit PAL Player of the Week. She starts 8th grade at West Bloomfield Middle School this fall, and her favorite subject is science. According to the hashtag Sheriff PAL basketball program, their director, Coach Tony Howard, and assistant coach Jaden, quote, Maya comes across as this shy, soft-spoken, and not so confident kid, but once she steps on the court, she's a force to be reckoned with, consistently asks questions, and is an extremely hard worker during practice sessions. She was recognized by the Sheriff PAL program for her athletic accomplishments and more. And of course, you can learn more about that program on Facebook at Sheriff PAL. Kevin, a great find on that story from the West Bloomfield School District, as we recognize another one of our young athletes that's not only inspiring other athletes across our community and with her great accomplishments, but also with that right attitude on and off the court.
Love to see that right there, Tyler. The fact that she was recognized, and she loves basketball too. She loves what she's doing there, and she was obviously she has great support by her coaches and the athletic director and program director Tony Howard, and they have high praises for her. So Maya, congratulations, good job, Player of the Week. Congratulations again.
Yeah, congratulations to Maya on this great accomplishment on and off the court. That's the attitude we love to see from here in Greater West Bloomfield. That makes for some great athletes. And hey, look, she's starting her 8th grade year at the middle school level. Pretty soon we'll be seeing her on the court at the high school level with Coach Mack and the team at WB. So a bright future ahead for them. As we get ready to go back to school, Spirit of Grace Church is also looking to help kids get ready to go back to school that may not have what they need to hit the ground running on day one of this school year. Even in our community, some students will go back to school this fall without the supplies that they need to have an effective day in the classroom. Even the basics like pencils and notebooks, or even a backpack to put all those materials in, are in need for some kids in our community. And Spirit of Grace Church currently running a school supply drive to help to bridge some of those gaps. Their goal is to fill 20 backpacks for girls and for boys as they approach the school year with all of those different supplies that we just mentioned and so much more. Donations can be accepted really all throughout the week. Monday through Friday, they are open from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. to accept these goods, and they also will accept those before or after their Sunday worships, which happen at 10 a.m. For more information on this ongoing drive, facebook.com/SpiritO Grace, or visit them on their website, spiritofgrace.church. Kevin, a really important issue as we get ready to go back into the classroom this fall, because we take for granted what is really necessary for these kids to be ready for day one in the classroom. And that's such an important day, too, to set the tone for their upcoming school year.
We're already in a state of inflation. We already talked about the housing costs going up, back to school clothes, and then you're throwing on supplies on top of that. It could all add up very, very quickly. So to have an opportunity for an organization to give away backpacks filled with the supplies, so you don't even have to worry about the supply, I think that's a great effort put on by Spirit of Grace Church, by the way. So our hats off to Spirit of Grace Church and the staff there.
Yeah, as kids go back to school in the coming weeks, or later on in August is when they begin, just before Labor Day in the West Bloomfield School District. They should go into school on day one ready to learn, ready to have fun, make some new friends, and not have to worry about, I gotta go to class, but I have no way of taking notes, and I don't want to ask for paper or for a pencil or for some other supplies that I should already have in my backpack. You can contribute to that. Hopefully, Spirit of Grace will be able to fill those 20 backpacks for girls and for boys. And know what would be even better? If they could fill even more than those 20 backpacks from generous donations from you at home across our 4 communities. We'll keep you updated on that. Right next door, West Bloomfield Parks, all smiles during the month of July as they recognize National Parks and Recreation Month. They want you to get involved in the celebration, and by doing so, you could find yourself receiving some pretty special West Bloomfield Parks related prizes. Their campaign for this month is West Bloomfield Parks, where you belong. They want you to post your favorite memories, moments, pictures, videos from your experiences out across our West Bloomfield Parks, across our community, by using the hashtag WBWhereYouBelong as part of their promotions campaign, and to be eligible for a giveaway. Share your memories just next few days. By July 24th, share those memories across social media for your chance to win up to 4 free passes to Lily Pad Springs. Look, Kevin, it's been pretty temperate recently, but those dog days of summer are coming up where it's going to be very hot and very humid, and you still want to get outside with the kids and burn that energy. Lily Pad Springs is a great place to go. You can get free passes there.
Exactly.
A picnic cooler for when you're out and about in the parks enjoying a meal on a bright, sunny Saturday or Sunday afternoon. WB Parks sticker packs, and even more. More information on this campaign, how you can get involved, on Facebook at WB Parks or on WBParks.org, where you can also, Kevin, find a lot of information on not only helping out in our local parks, but helping our local environment as well.
Yes, July, actually, they are also promoting their new Green Dream initiative. And for July, it is reducing food waste. I can definitely get behind this. It's another way for us to kind of help with the environment, but they're saying great ways to reduce the amount of food that you throw away is by canning or pickling the produce before it expires. That way it'll help extend the shelf life, by the way. So you want to make sure you properly do that, so that way it reduces the chances of it ending up in a landfill. And we have plenty of landfill already, as we are already experiencing with our transition between the waste hauling companies. So if you do have a favorite way of having extra life to your produce, please share on the West Bloomfield Parks, WB Parks Facebook page, Facebook at WB Parks. A lot of great information there. And I love the fact that we're helping reduce food waste. I hate to waste food, Tyler.
Hey, look, Greater West Bloomfield loves its environment, appreciates the local ecology, not only in West Bloomfield Township, but look, you go out to any of the parks. We were just out earlier on in the show at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. Beautiful facility there, beautiful environment out there. Same goes for out at Rose Sorter Park and across Keego Harbor, across Orchard Lake and more. Our 4 communities love their environment. This advice goes a long way and hopefully will be implemented by some people learning a little something or two about what they can do each and every day. Those little things go a long way. Kevin, as we mentioned earlier on, some new hockey programs on the ice in Greater West Bloomfield. So is the case to learn some hockey on the field as well, West Bloomfield High School.
Yeah, for those interested in field hockey and learning more about the game, there is a free summer clinic that is being offered by Coach Zahid, West Bloomfield's varsity field hockey coach, and that's going on now throughout the end of the month of July, by the way. The clinic will focus on fundamentals and gameplay. And if you are interested, make sure you email Coach at me-mcp, as in Paul, at hotmail.com for more information. Directly, you can go to their Facebook, also West Bloomfield Schools, for more information. It's another great opportunity for people interested in hockey.
Hey, you can't say we aren't helping you keep informed on things you can do to stay active and have some fun out across our 4 communities. Kevin will continue to do that all throughout each and every weekday here on the Splash Live, Monday through Friday, new episodes. We thank you for tuning in on this Friday edition of the Splash Live. Want to give a big thank you to everyone that joined us on the program, as well as our dedicated team out in the field today. Jake Schaff out at Master Control, Peyton Skyver and Calvin Brown, and alongside Kevin McIntosh, I'm Tyler Keefe. Live, local, social. This has been the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.